Hello, my name is Eileen and I'm a member of the Save Our Acute Services campaign. And I would like to share with you one of the many, many reasons why I became involved and why I've stayed involved with this excellent group of people who are fighting so hard to retain the services and to restore the services that we've had cruelly taken away from us. So I live at Timor with my husband Tommy. We're the parents of 4 children. 3 adult sons who are now living away from here. But we also have a daughter, but she's in heaven. She died in a tragic accident in 1991. And you may wonder what on earth that has to do with saving a hospital. But I just want to share with you, not to elicit pity, not for any other reason, but to tell you the comfort that knowing emergency services were very, very close on hand when this dreadful accident happened. As I fought to save my daughter's life through giving her my own breath, I knew the ambulance was on its way. And even though, as a mother, deep down I knew this may not have a good outcome, I did know the comfort to think that these professionals were on their way and they would make all things right. And I can still feel the hands of an ambulance man on my shoulders, gently taking me away from my daughter's body. And they had a doctor with them, and they fought, and they fought. But they didn't manage to save her life. But in the 33 years that we have lived without her, that pain would have been so much worse had we felt that we could have done something. And that is why I feel so desperately afraid for our county. The people in our position, at the bedside of somebody who's had an accident, who's desperately ill, waiting on an ambulance, and that ambulance is sitting outside Athnagelvin Hospital, where there may be 136 people awaiting care. What timely fashion, what on earth comfort would that bring to somebody in our position? Yes, we didn't save our daughter, but everything was done. Everything that could be done from both myself, my husband, and those wonderful, wonderful people who came to try to save our life. And it has made our grief far more bearable to know that that was done. Already, I am sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that there are people in our county, in South Tyrone, who haven't got that same story, who cannot say that they feel everything possible could be done. And that is horrendous. It is horrendous that somebody sitting in an office very, very close to a hospital in Derry or in Belfast has made decisions to just stroke out different services that we are entitled to. Our hospital was built 10 years ago because of its location, because we needed to have everybody in the north of Ireland within 1 hour of emergency care. Has that been considered? That hospital hasn't moved. Our geography hasn't changed. I'm still 19 miles from the SOUTH WEST ACUTE HOSPITAL. We've had occasions where we've had to drive past that to bring my husband, who was only shortly after a hip operation, where there was a complication. We had to drive past our state-of-the-art hospital with a man who was barely able to sit and attend an A&E. And that's many years ago, before this service was taken away, but it's just because it was an orthopaedic condition. And drive past our beautiful hospital for this service. So I'm asking you, as a mother, as now a grandmother of 2 beautiful children, you need to think long and hard in how you're going to support our hospital in retaining the services it's got, but more importantly, restoring our emergency services. I urge you to listen to Tom Black. It's on the source page. A GP who has some very, very stark statistics to give us. But he quotes the late Seamus Heaney in saying there is no such thing as an innocent bystander. Each of us are witness to what's going on. Our inaction is going to allow it to continue. There's several things you can do. You can come out to our Shine a Light on the 14th, Shine a Light for our emergency services, for our SWA. You can come out on the 14th of November at 7 o'clock on the Diamond. It's wonderful to think that last weekend the town was filled with people for the spectacular. Is your hospital not even more important than that? A half an hour of your time away from the comfort of your fire or your warm home, if you're lucky enough to have a warm home with all the restrictions our government are placing on older people. But I urge you to come and show your support. I urge you to speak to your politicians. One of the main reasons, apart from our own personal story, that I got to stay involved was a wonderful meeting that was held shortly after the removal of the temporary suspension of the acute services in the hospital. There was a wonderful meeting in St Aidan's and Eileen, attended to by most of the political parties, and it was a most wonderful sight to see our political representatives all speaking from the same hymn sheet that night. The fire in their bellies was wonderful. I have no idea why that fire has disappeared from the bellies. I hope it's returned, but I do hope that you, as the voting people of Fermanagh and South Tyrone, that you get behind your politicians and ask them. Get onto them and ask them what they've done, what they're going to do. Because from where I sit at this moment, I don't see very much action. It all disappeared in a puff of smoke. So please, do your part. Show the support for your hospital. Don't be an innocent bystander, because nothing may have happened to you yet. But if it does, you will need to know that that ambulance is on its way if you're in a situation like we were, or in the case of somebody falling ill very suddenly. You need to know that that ambulance is on its way from Enniskillen to bring you to Enniskillen to deal with maybe a life-threatening situation. You don't need to know that it's sitting outside Athnagelvin where it cannot discharge its patient because they're so overwhelmed. Our doctors, our nurses are working flat to the mat. They're stressed beyond limit, and yet the people who are making these decisions are warm and comfortable, making decisions that's playing fire and playing with our lives. We deserve better. Fermanagh will not be forgotten.